Hey guys, I'm back again. I'm gonna shoot out two videos today. So this video is gonna be about the basics that you'll need in order to have a successful Planet Aquarium. So first of all, you need to have good lights. I have a Quad T5HO, 24 watts each, so that puts me at 96 over this 30-gallon Planet Aquarium. As well, I have a LED bar from Current. They're not the best at growing plants, but I like the blue and the white mixture. So I just sometimes leave it on for a bit just for me to enjoy my fish or my aquarium. So that's on right now, but usually it's not good for growing plants. If you're trying to grow plants, that's not the way to go. Go with the T5HO. I think you'll get away with 2, but I have 4 because when it comes to lighting, I don't want to, question if I have adequate lighting or not. So, yeah, and because in the event that I want to grow, I don't know, harder plants, because right now I have all, I guess, relatively easy plants to grow, like pearlweed, like Laguidia at the back, and Rotella. Like, they're fairly easy, I want to say. They're not the most difficult plants, but yeah, just in case if I want to grow some baby tears or something like that. So yeah, lighting, number 1. Number 2, substrate. You need to have a good substrate. Like I said, before in my previous video, I didn't have a good substrate, and that's something I regret. So substrate and lighting, these two you do not want to be, cheap on. You want to invest in a good substrate. And there's many ways of getting a good substrate. Although I just have, the aquarium, the standard, or whatever, the aquarium substrate. But if you look at Dustin's fish tank, he has he always do dirted tanks, and it's been doing great as well. So I guess that's another way to go. Although I personally haven't tried it, but looking at his videos, he definitely had a lot of success. So substrate is the key. Lighting, substrate. Okay, these are the 2 essentials you'll need, and basically I would say anything else after that will be a bonus. So I'll be right back to show you guys. Okay, so if you have a good substrate, you probably won't need a lot of these, but just in case you don't, just gonna quickly go over what liquid ferts that I'm dosing. Phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen. They're known as the NPK fertilization. So if you don't have a good substrate, you may be, it may be in your best interest to invest in some of these. I mean, this bottle, if you have somewhat decent substrate, like mine, somewhat decent, these 3 bottles probably will last you at least a year, because you won't be needing that much. It's more of to give plant a boost. But if you have no substrate, then, or no, you don't have a good substrate, then, you could run a few bottles, over the course of a year. But that's what I'm saying. Long-term perspective, get a good substrate. Okay? And the next, if you have a decent, somewhat of a decent substrate, then you probably don't need these 3. Or, you might just give plant a boost here and there, but another good thing to have, even if you have a good substrate, would be this guy here, Flourish Excel Carbon. This guy helps you kill algae. So, and I do notice a little bit of pearling every time when I dose him, so that should be a staple. This guy and iron. Iron, especially if you have red plants, you would need this. So I would highly recommend these 2 just as a staple, and maybe this guy as well. This Flourish, what's this? It's like micro elements trace. Yeah, basically it's like a comprehensive fertilizer of includes everything here. But you probably won't be dosing a lot of that if you have somewhat of a decent substrate. And especially if you're not trying to grow baby tears, any difficult plants. If you just have easy plants, just these 3, so Excel, Iron, and Flourish, you should be doing fine. And lastly, you probably would want to invest in one of these. I know there are strips, and I just have the test tube ones, because you would need to know your water parameters before you add any fish, or if you want to know how your aquarium is doing. I don't test my water a lot nowadays, but I mean, if you're starting a new tank, these are absolutely crucial. So I do strongly suggest you invest in one of these. Okay, and lastly, CO2, which is, in my case, I had a DIY CO2 system. So CO2 is really for you to give your plant another boost in growth and in absorbing all the nutrients, and it helps algae, because if your plant grows faster, then your algae won't have all the nutrients it requires to grow. So I mean, CO2 definitely gives a boost. So yeah, just to wrap up, number one, you need to have a good substrate. That's the most crucial. Number two, lighting. And everything else is added bonus. And all depends, again, it all depends on what you're trying to grow, but everything else would be an added bonus, and yet you kind of have to cater it towards what plants you have in here. And yeah, so I did get a couple questions from my friend. He asked me these questions, and I feel like, as a newbie, I wasted a lot of money on things that are not needed. So yeah, especially lighting. I know there are some good LED lights out there. I haven't personally tried it, but they're freaking expensive. They just, for a 30-gallon, they run upwards of $300. I just think it's not feasible. Not feasible, but like, it's not reasonable. Sorry, I should say. Like, $300 for a set of lights is just crazy. And if you were to get, like, the pressurized CO2 system, the last time I checked, the cheapest goes for $250, and this only costed me $50 or under, and is doing pretty well. Like in my last video I showed you, my plants are pearling. So, and for 30-gallon, I think that's good enough. So my lights probably costed me, so these T5HO quad from Odyssey, not the best lights, probably the cheapest out there on the market. These guys costed me about, I think, $150 to $200, if I remember correctly. This LED was just I got tricked into buying it. I think it was like $100. I got ripped off too. Brand new though, but still. So the 150 on the light, so that's what, $200, and then probably another, I want to say, $30 to $50 on the substrate. So you're looking at least $250, of investment in order for you to have, success growing plants. And although I probably spent way more than that, just because I made a lot of mistakes. So yeah, that's just a quick video on the basics or the staples that you'll need for Planet Aquarium. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll be glad to help, just because I'm still somewhat new and trying to save you guys money. Alright, until then.